doing today? This is Dr. Ferrante Frazier with another episode of Natural as F. It's a pleasure to be back doing shows where we can, for the new year, where we can teach people how to correct their health issues that they've been suffering from. Most of us right now are going to the doctor left and right for all these health issues. I've actually been on a lot of social media where just about all of the followers are complaining about they're sick right now. Now, these not the ones who, be liking a lot of our healthy posts or anything like that. But just going down, the feed, we see people suffering immensely with symptoms of detoxification. I mean, you got them where they're sneezing, they're coughing, they're diarrhea, they fever, they have eruptions coming from their skin, they dealing with headache, body ache, all kind of health issues they're suffering from you know, at this time right now. I even heard them talking about, an epidemic might be coming back around, where we're going to end up having to wear masks again. So it seemed like our sickness is still here. No matter what we use to prevent it, we're still suffering from sickness. Um, I want to let you know before we get into this show, I am not a medical doctor and I don't even hold myself out to prescribe medications. I don't talk about drugs of any kind. But what I am is a holistic practitioner, a hygiophysician that teach the ways of health, which is the conditions for health, or the requirements for our body for it can stay healthy or return to health when we have lost it. Those things are, conducive with health, such as fresh air. They have a vital relationship with health. The air we breathe, the amount of sun we get, the food we eat, the drink we drink, the amount of rest we get, exercise or movement, emotional balance, how we control ourselves, poise ourselves, balance ourselves, keep the will to live, freedom from stress and, toxic relationships. Also, with maintaining normal temperatures and keeping a clean environment around us, those things are I'll say our basic needs that will keep us healthy and also will restore us back to health when we have lost it. The reason why we usually lose health is because of us not getting those basic requirements. Somewhere in our life, we've fallen off line. We've strayed away from the path towards health. So, our show, Natural as Self, is to help get you back on that path. We're going to first talk about some different stuff, give you insight about what is health and how to achieve it, how to maintain it and how to achieve it. Most of my listeners that's going to be listening, I'm sure we're not going to have no teenagers here. They don't know really disease just yet because they're full of vitality. They haven't poisoned themselves to death like most of the elders, or even the middle age. We've been overworking ourselves and we've been poisoning ourselves. So we know what disease is. We know the evils of life. So let's get an understanding of what health is, where we can apply natural hygiene to our life, where we can, start feeling better and stop premature dying and all these aches and pains that we're suffering from. So I do have a guest today that's going to be coming on the show. She's not new to hygiene, might be new to you. She's been studying hygiene just as long as I've been doing it. So she'll be up here in a minute. She's a business partner of mine for many, many years now, where we were teaching a lot of the Savannah area. I mean, vigorously working, not just in Savannah area. Me and her used to travel different places though, but teaching people how to get healthy. Even when we weren't even making any money, we were still hitting the ground floor, going into different communities, churches, and different stuff, teaching people how to restore their body back to health. And working with clients effortlessly and endlessly day and night to get people to, practice natural hygiene and get themselves out of dreaded situations such as chronic diseases. So she's a pioneer at teaching holistic health and helping. I'll call her the modern Nightingale. you know, so she's very proficient in what it takes to be healthy. So I brought her on where she can tell you a little bit about her lifestyle and what hygiene coming from a different perspective. I don't want you to think I'm the only guy, in this area that cares about health or want to teach you how to heal yourself. Or what I'm saying, I'm not the only person. I'm not just making this stuff up. You know, as I go by here. These are principles that have been handed down, from some very powerful hygienic practitioners and different other people who, you had certain doctors that believed in fresh air. Then you had some that believe in, the fruitarian vegan lifestyle. Then you had some believe that you're only supposed to drink water. But natural hygiene brought all these doctors right stuff together. See, you had some of them doctors still believe in some torturous and murderous and bloody, medicines and different stuff like that that cause harm. They still had some bad teachings mingled up with their good teachings. But natural hygiene brought all the good teachings together. And so we're standing on solid truth when it comes towards holistic health and healing. So without further ado, I'm going to bring our guests in. And I'd like, again, I want to let you know we're not medical doctors, but this is the great Michaela. How are you doing, Miss Michaela?
How you doing,
Miss
Dr.
Michaela.
Fraser? I'm doing excellent. Thank you. Thank you.
Outstanding. I was given. I haven't done this show in a couple of weeks, where for this year yet, and we got a lot of sickness that's going on in our community right now. Well, not just local community. When I talk about community, I'm really talking about the world. Because if when we're looking at it, we're looking at sickness going on right here in the house. We got sickness going on. I walk out in the neighborhood. Everybody either sick and shut in, or they complaining about aches and pains, moving sluggishly. You know, and then I go into other neighborhoods, I see the same thing going on there. I cut on the television, I see people suffering up there. I get on social media, I see people suffering there. I turn on the world news, I see people suffering there. But so it's not localized sickness, but there's a mass sickness that's going on in our community, in our world right now. And a lot of us don't know what's going on. You know, I guess because most medical doctors, they're not realizing that they don't find out what's the cause. If you look at most of their understanding of disease, they say there's no known cause. If you look at the etiology of most diseases today, they're going to say the cause is unknown. And but the prognosis is good provided you get on a rigorous treatment of this medication or this treatment, this palliative care or something like that. And it's funny that I'm saying this because me and you had a good conversation about this just yesterday. You're gonna know this firsthand. But but they are also treating stuff that they say they don't know what causes it. It's like you're trying to correct something, you have no idea what causing it. It's like you're in a dark room trying to hit something that you don't know where at. you know. So it looked like every time they're missing the mark because we're steady suffering with these dreaded diseases, and our families and friends are dying at a rapid rate, and all we can do is mourn their loss. Today they're here and next minute they're gone so rapidly under the medical understanding of disease. So like I wanted to make sure that we start back these shows where we can tell our listeners, the true way to health. It's up to them to follow it at the end of the day, because it is a big lifestyle change. They have to revamp a lot of the things that they were doing in their life and come to another, way of living and stuff like that. So before I go in and keep running my mouth, because and I know I can talk a lot when it comes to this holistic health and healing. I want you to introduce yourself to the listeners, and we're going to talk a little bit about the history of hygiene that you know of. We're going to talk about how you have applied natural hygiene to your life and what you notice when you are strictly hygienic, how your health is. And you can even tell them, if you want to, when you stray from the path yourself, what happens. you know. Uh, I know it beats me up, but I get whipped like a bad child, what I'm saying, by a mother who is really strict. But we all do. So go ahead and introduce yourself for the listeners.
Thank you, Dr. Frazier. I am Michaela Gordon Thomas. I am a caregiver by nature, by trade, um, and by force, because it was the family business. So I've been taking care of other people who are sick, ill, and like you said, sick and shut in, ever since I can remember. Um, Now, with the introduction of natural hygiene and hygienic practices into my life, I've been able to coach small groups of people in hygienic practices and in natural health, myself and my family. I think that what you asked was for me to share a little bit. Is there anything specific, Dr. Frazier?
Well, that would be all totally up to you, how, natural hygiene has, you know, um, really triggered your life and steered your life in any one way direction. When you first heard about natural hygiene, the body heals itself, Michaela. you
Right.
know you got to follow these practices. There are 10 energy enhancers that's going to enhance your energy. Once your energy is enhanced, you're going to start functioning better. Your body
Okay.
is going to clean itself better. You're going to build yourself better. When you started hearing that information, and you started applying it into your life, and you started seeing other people apply it in their life, you remember me and you used to walk side by side there, Michaela.
Okay. Okay. Well, I just want to know how you wanted me to approach it. So if we're talking about personally, then I can be a little bit more surgical where that's concerned. No, I
Mhm.
didn't certain not promoting any type of surgery here, but a little more specific. Um, Natural hygiene changed my life. The understanding of natural hygiene changed my life, and finding out about it through you when you were still in school. Um,
Mhm.
you applying that information that you were learning to your actual life, you know,
Mhm.
um, was an eye opener for me, because here was somebody who had been to medical doctors for things that are so common to people in our community, and getting no results. Just like everybody else, nobody's really getting results. They might get a little temporary relief, but never any real healing results from going to the doctor. And you took that bull by the horns and you said, okay, I need to live, and so.
Mhm. We don't know what happened there. She'll most likely come back in just a second, but hopefully she'll be right back in. Maybe somebody who was just, we have a little weather problem here. But until she's come back in, I'm gonna go ahead and start talking more about what we were initially our topic until she come back in. We were having issues where people were, having a lot of health issues right now after the holidays. After these holidays, people are getting sick by the numbers. We don't pay attention to these cycles. We go on through life, and because after, let's say starting off with Halloween. Halloween is one of the first holidays coming up at the end of the year, from a big space of a, over the summer. All right, so you come in off the summer and you got Halloween. Halloween is a holiday of eating a bunch of candy, a bunch of candy. All right, and it's getting a little cold in most areas. It's kind of cold, so you got the stress of the weather, cold weather, which the body got to use energy to keep itself warm. Then you got excessive sugar, additives, preservatives, dyes, and all type of other so-called enhancers and different so-called fillers and ingredients that is put into these candies, and we're eating them. We're eating huge amounts of them. We're not eating them in small amounts. We got bags and bags of candy. So now, had we get sick soon as we indulge in them, we can say, well, this candy made me sick. But then the candy makers won't make no money. You won't go and buy a Snickers bar if every time you ate it, I mean, as you're eating it, you feel the poisoning. You start throwing up. You start having diarrhea. You start having aches and pains in your body. Every time you eat the Snicker, right as you're eating it, no one will eat it. But since the body doesn't go into shock and go through the elimination right then and there, well, you don't associate it with it and you continuously eat it. Because it take a day or two before the Snicker to start bearing on the body in such a way that it start causing you tremendous problems. Now, if you eat enough of those Snickers at one point, then your body is going to go into those so-called symptoms. It's just that we're eating in we're taking in poison in low doses. But when it comes to Halloween, we start taking higher doses. So we start noticing that our children are now suffering with sickness. The parents are not suffering from sickness as much as the children during Halloween. Why? Because the children are the one eating all the candy. The parents, they eat a little bit of candy, but not as much as the children. All right, then we fast forward to Thanksgiving. Now, Thanksgiving is another holiday that causes us to overindulge in some type of food stuff. We got to put stuff down this canal, throw this stuff in this food chute. Our garbage disposal. That's what most of us digestive tract is. It's just a garbage disposal because we're not putting any wholesome stuff in it. We're just putting waste products, trash, unhealthy foods, things that has no vital relationship to human digestion or human absorption or human assimilation. It has nothing to do with body tissue, reconstructing your body, repairing your body, helping your body to defend itself from foreign invaders. It has nothing to do with the vital relationship of the body. Wow, we got her back in. She came back in. Excellent, excellent. I was telling them a little bit about these holidays that I knew you was coming back, but I was telling them a little bit about these holidays and how these holidays is causing us sickness. We see that the children getting sick from Halloween and not the elders. And then on Thanksgiving, we see everybody sick. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody is thankful for their, smorgasbord of foods, But we're gonna go back into that in a minute because we're gonna go back to Christmas and then we're gonna go to the New Year's and so on and so on. But as you were saying before you got cut off, I'm gonna give the floor back to you, ma'am.
Thank you. I apologize for that. I had a little technical difficulty here. What I was saying though was in watching you apply the principles of health that you learn through natural hygiene to your life, and seeing you not necessarily having the results yet as much as the fact that you were steadfast in doing it and that you had committed to it was a big thing for me. The other part of that was that you were sharing the knowledge, again, not necessarily seeing the results that you were getting, but being focused on you sharing the knowledge of what natural health and hygiene is. And me reading it for myself and studying for myself and understanding that these are habits, things that you practice. Physician, heal thyself. It was biblical for me. I
Mm-hmm.
think that I have sharing that with the listeners now, because I know that I've shared that with you. It lined the things that you were teaching me lined up so vividly with the word of God, which governed at the time and even still governs my life, and the decisions that I make. So I
Mm-hmm.
was willing and ready to go forward with these principles. And then to start seeing the changes when I started applying certain of the principles to my life, to see the changes in me. And then I wasn't sick. I didn't have a diagnosis from any doctor, but I knew people who did. So my parents, who had suffered from high blood pressure for all of my life and had just been diagnosed, both of them, with diabetes, um, introducing them to hygienic principles and to hygiene, and then watching them apply the principles to their lives and doing the work of changing the habits, and then seeing just the years of all of the damage that they have, because we have our habits and they cause this damage over time. But then to be able to see effects being reversed, to go with them to their doctors and hear their doctors saying, whatever you're doing, keep doing it, to take them off of diabetes medications and off of high blood pressure medications, was just a phenomenal thing. And then to go out into the community, and see people with liver diseases be cured, and to see people with, again, the diabetes and the high blood pressure, which seem to always just fall off first,
Mm-hmm. Rapidly.
even when we were approaching, um, we were only approaching weight loss. That
Mm-hmm.
was what we were doing, because everybody's doctor, if you've been to the doctor and you've got a chronic illness, anyway, the doctor, first thing the doctor tells you to do is take this pill and lose 20 pounds and come back and see me in 30 days.
Yes.
With no, in my opinion, with no confidence or faith that you're going to go and lose 20 pounds. And so then what we were doing was we were helping people to lose the 20 pounds, but in losing the 20 pounds, they were then losing their diabetes and losing their hypertension,
Right. Right.
which was just absolutely amazing. So we talked about the falling off, for me, because I'm only human just like everybody else. And so I grew up eating pig feet and collard greens, pig feet in my collard greens,
Right.
um,
Or
rice
collard
with my
greens in your
proteins.
pig feet. You heard
Excuse
me?
me. I
You heard me? Sometimes
Yes,
I know some people put collard greens
yes.
with their pigtails. They have more pigtails in the pot than collard greens. But go ahead though.
Absolutely, absolutely, because that's how it's how we've always done it. And
Mhm.
so again, it's about habits. And if you have a habit of eating certain things, living a certain way, um, even having certain kinds of conversation, um, if you have a habit of not going outside because you don't like bugs or whatever, I mean, all of those things are habits. And when you reverse those things, then you see the benefit, um, of now practicing new habits. But like I said, we're all just only human. So then what happens personally with me, which is why I'm fasting now. I think I might have sent you that too. Today is my second day on this fast, because
When you say
I'm
fast, what do you
rededicating.
mean?
This is 2024. It's a new year. I'm coaching.
What
I'm
do you mean
sorry.
by fast? What do you mean by fast? What are you doing when you say you're fasting? Some people don't understand what fasting is.
Okay. Well, what I'm doing, because there's a lot of ways to fast out there. I am total fasting. And so what I'm doing is I'm choosing not to eat, um, or drink anything really, unless I'm thirsty. I haven't restricted myself to not drinking any water, but if I'm not thirsty, then I'm not drinking. But I am totally fasting 24 hours a day, um, taking in nothing. and just resting.
So you didn't die?
And
You didn't
that's what
die
I mean
from the
by
first
fasting.
day?
I'm totally not eating.
You didn't die from the first day?
I did not die. No, I did
Excellent.
not.
Excellent.
And Dr. Frazier, this is my first fast for this year. I plan to do several fasts in this year, and just really get back to it, and
Hmm.
go hard at it. But
What's
I
the
mean, I
longest? What's the
fasted for,
longest
I
you
think
ever
my
fasted?
longest fast may have been,
Huh?
I think I've accomplished 21 days. I think I
21
accomplished
days.
21 days. I know that I did 17 days. Yeah, but I know for a fact that I did 17 days on a total fast like this, because I can remember one of the ladies that we were working with, when
Hmm.
she told me, baby, you need to eat something.
I've
Yeah.
been told that a lot of times. You know that I've been told I needed to eat so many times. When people, I remember one time somebody was saying I looked like an Ethiopian standing out there in the sun. My body was like kind of broke down a lot because I was going through a really strong detox. I was fasting for quite a long time. I think I did like 30 some days or something like that. And I was out there and it was like, oh, you need to eat. But I felt great now. Nothing, during the fast, I didn't feel bad or anything like that. And then, like us, we know what fasting is. I wouldn't tell nobody to go on a fast that long without having supervision or at least studying about what fasting is. Know something about fasting before you really go into it, where you can understand. Because there are times where an individual may need to break the fast, or complications can arise. They call healing crises that can arise, that if you don't understand what's going on, you can either prolong suffering or do some damage to your health if you don't know the next move in situations like that. So I do tell anyone who's fasting, if you're listening, you hearing the benefits of fasting from Natural Hygiene. And if you notice, she said that what we teach is in line with the principles even of the Bible, because if you notice in the Bible, Jesus constantly told the people man should be fasting and praying. So fasting is not just some new thing we're pulling out of our backside. What I'm saying, trying to tell you about. This has been employed many times. It's in every religion. There is no religion that doesn't talks about the benefits of fasting and how fasting can clear your body, clear you physically, clear you spiritually. And fasting from television can clear you mentally, especially from the news. So fasting is not some cure, but the body, the mind, the spirit can cure itself while you're not retoxing it with all the stimulants, the poisons, and different stuff that we bring into this body. Any exposure that we bring to this body, we have to stop it. The only way to break a chain is to abstain from a thing. This is what you hear in the Bible as well. To break any chain, you gotta stay away from it. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna lose its power over you. So you want to stop smoking? Stop smoking. Put it down. Hide yourself from it. Back in the days, they used to tie people down to the bed. They used to call it exorcism. What I'm saying? We're going to exorcise that demon out of you. You got to just keep you away from that thing for a period of time, and your body will go through really, really bad withdrawal or craving most of the time. But eventually, it'll get to a point where you won't crave the thing no more. And if you go back to it, you be like, I don't want that no more. How did I ever, did this toxic stuff or anything like that? But I just had to share that right real quick. You go ahead back to what you were saying, Michaela.
Well, I don't know if I can get back to what I was saying, Dr. Frazier. Listening to you makes me think of so many different things. We were talking about my backsliding, another, religious word to throw in there,
You're right.
um, from hygiene, and how you do that. Because you were saying, you come to a point where once you've changed the habit, and then you try to go back to that old thing, you don't really want it. And that's true.
Hmm.
It reminded me of when you teach about beginning a bad habit, like smoking. And the first time that you do it, you inhale and you cough because your lungs are saying, don't do this,
Right.
and then you do it again and you might cough again because the lungs are still going, please don't do this, but the more you practice it, the better you get at it. And the lungs then stop making you cough. And the reason for that is because your lungs are saying, okay, you know what, you're going to do this. I'm going to stop spending this energy trying to stop you from doing this thing because you're going to do it anyway. I'm going to use this energy someplace else in the body. So the body's just that smart to do that.
What's
I thought about that because
what's the law? The law of accommodation, the law of
okay.
toleration.
All right.
That's the law. Go ahead.
Amen. So when you go back to habits, like I was talking about, pig feet and collard greens in pig feet in the collard greens.
Right.
When you haven't done those things, when you haven't,
she having difficulties again, and we gotta have her because I'm telling you, she's a very common person to speak natural hygiene. She talks to you in a way that it automatically resonate with anybody. She's not putting it in terms of scientific Greek, Latin words and stuff like that. She make health be able to be received by anybody. A baby can understand what she's talking about, and it's so relevant because it's the truth. So hopefully she'll come back up here before our time is out, because we almost wrapping it up for this show, but we got many shows heading from here that we're going to be putting out. So we need for you to reach out to everyone in your family, your friends, and get them to come out and sit down on Tuesdays at 6 o'clock and listen to Natural is Elf. We want to get so many followers, because the more people who follow Savannah Natural Health and Natural is Elf on this platform is going to start programming the minds of the people to change their lifestyle. And if that happens, guess what? We're going to stop seeing all sickness going on in our world. Now, the medical doctors might get a little mad, the whole medical field may get mad. The pharmaceutical companies may get a little upset when no one is no longer needing to buy their Tylenols and their aspirins and their Bears and their pain pills. And no one will be clogging up the emergency room and stuff like that. The emergency room would be what it's supposed to be in case of an emergency. Somebody get hit, somebody get ran over. That's what the emergency is going to be for. We see you made it back, ma'am. I was hoping you'll come back. We're going to work on this moving forward.
Dr. Frazier, can I want to finish what I was going to say about going back to habits, and then I'm going to, because this is just going to continue to happen today. So we'll work it out. What I was saying was, in going back to those habits, and it doesn't have to be necessarily meat. It could be snacks, any of those things. Once you have stopped practicing and participating in a negative habit or a bad habit or a death habit, and you replace that with no longer snacking, only eating after 12 o'clock in the afternoon, breaking fast with juicy fruit. Once you've started practicing those things and then you go back to an old habit, your body knows it. Just like that first time you tried to smoke a cigarette, your body rejects that flavor. It rejects that grease. There's a rejection. And if you say it's not, then it's just untrue. You're not telling yourself the truth, because you'll know it'll be on your tongue. It will be in your nose. In the moment that you're trying to reintroduce some foul thing into the clean body that you have now created, it will coat your tongue. And what I'm saying is, I've had to push past that, and we all do. You push right past it, because more than you want to acknowledge that this is bad for me, you want to eat those Doritos. You want to finish those pig feet. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
want to do that. And so just acknowledge the fact that you want to do it. And I think that that too goes to emotional poise, which you talked about, and healthy relationships. Your first healthy relationship should be with yourself. So
Mm-hmm.
don't lie to yourself. Be honest with yourself about what is happening to you, because it's happening to you. It's up to you. It's not up to a doctor. It's not up to me. It's not up to Dr. Frazier. It's not up to a nurse. It's totally in your control. It's within your control. It's only control. The doctor can prescribe you anything he wants to. If you don't take medicine, it has no effect on you. You know, up to you. It's all up to you. So I'm gonna go with that, Dr. Frazier, because it especially for 2024. If you're making changes, you're correcting things that have been gone bad or wrong or whatever. You just want to do something new, do something different. Stick to things that you want to stick to. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with
Mm-hmm.
yourself. Allow yourself to experience a failure, and then immediately after you've done that, forgive yourself for it, and then go forward and move on, because you can't dwell in the past. You can't change it. You can only go forward and continue to do things differently. So that's basically what I wanted to say, and all of that is hygienic. All those principles are hygienic. So I do appreciate Dr. Frazier, you bringing me in today. I look forward to doing this with you as soon as
Mm-hmm.
I can get my technology right.
We're gonna work on that ASAP, man. But I
Yes, sir.
want this book right here called Better Than Before. All right. It's by Gretchen. Gretchen Rubin. She writes some really good books about self-help, and exactly what you just said in there, where it teach you how to get rid of these addictions and these habits, how to change habits, and how you're saying if you are going through something, and like you're changing a lifestyle, and then you be there like, well, I end up eating some French fries today, so I'm just gonna go ahead and eat French fries all day today. You know what I'm saying? Because I done messed up. You know what I mean? But that mentality right there is going to carry you right back into a bad round of habits. You know, some really bad
Right.
habits because after you eat the fries and you say, well, I'm just gonna go ahead and just do what I do today. Then you're gonna go find some more stuff. You say I done did bad today, so I might as well go ahead and turn up. You know what I mean? But if you say, okay, I'm just going to enjoy these fries because that's what I had, and I'm just going to enjoy it. But after that, the next meal is going to be a good meal. I'm going to get right back on the next meal. Not saying, wow, the next day or tomorrow. You know,
Right.
we know from
Right.
Orphan Annie that, tomorrow never comes. It's always a day away,
Right.
according Annie. So yes, I do agree with you, and I do want to thank you for coming up here because we are about to get off. We had a little shorter show today, but I do want to move forward and letting introducing you to the world where they can hear your perspective on this. Because sometimes I can be a little really scientific and not appeal to the people. I'd be done did a whole show. They'd be like, "What in the world that Joker just said? He said something about the lymphatic system or something, something, something." But since we've been together, you always put it in common terms. After I say something, you always put it in common terms for the people to be able to understand it, and that's why I think we would put together to really, bring about changes in a lot of people's lives. And even if we depart from one another, notice how we always come back right back to each other.
That's right. That's right.
So that's a blessing in itself. I do want to encourage you to continue your fast, when you can show those people that are in your group that, fasting allows the body to heal itself rapidly, more faster than anything else, because, it's giving the body rest. That's why is that why they call it the fast? Because it heals you fast, uh, you know, um, and then you save money during the fast. It's how you don't have to spend a bunch of money on food or anything like that. Um, so many benefits come from the fast. And matter of fact, that's what we're probably a do moving forward to help encourage people to fast more is to do some shows about fasting, the benefits of fasting. Uh, those people who should not fast, because everybody shouldn't fast. A person like, for example, a lady who breastfeeding, it'd be terrible for her to fast because if she fasts, then it's going to drop her milk. So it wouldn't be ideal for her to fast. But now at the beginning of the first trimester, when she's going through all that morning sickness, well, it'll be ideal for her to fast. So it's an art to fasting in some cases, you know what I mean? So that's why I tell a lot of people, if they do want to fast, let's get with a hygienic practitioner or someone who's skilled in fasting. Go see one of your pastors who know about fasting. They usually are trained as well in the art of fasting, because like you said, it's biblical at the end of the day. It's all about cleanliness, internal, external cleanliness. Right. And another thing that you said, when you said about physical consciousness, spiritual consciousness, which is where you're saying if the body, you clean up your body is becoming highly conscious of what's coming in it. So it's no longer going to put up with foolishness unless you weaken that consciousness down to a lower state. You got to bring your physical conscious down to where you can be able to eat a Snicker every hour without getting sick. You got to be able to bring your physical conscious down where you can be able to drink, a pint of liquor without even, having any issue. But the first person that drank it his first time, his conscience is no longer allowing that. His conscience is so high that his conscience is going to repel against that stimulus or that stimulant or that toxic, that poison, But continual use, like it was this, I see she kind of got out. But according to certain history, it was a king who wanted to defend himself against being poisoned. You know how a lot of people used to want to poison the king by killing them. They'd be done put something in his food or drink. But for him to save himself, he took low doses of poison over a long period of time till when somebody he tried to kill himself through suicide by taking a lot of poison, he wouldn't die because his body was already used to the poison. So this is the same thing that's going on in our world today. I want to thank you for tuning in to another episode of Natural is Elf. We want to tell you to have a great week. Make sure you show back up next Tuesday with another episode of how to allow your body to heal itself. Best of health and happiness, and we'll see you next week.
like this.